Along with Hall of Fame coach Jim Brown, we are back here in Beaver Creek at Fly Boys again next week. A Trina Merriweather show coming your way at 5:30. Then the Scott Nagy show coming up at 6 until 7. And with us now is one of the other seniors on the Wright State squad this year, Adam Giles from nearby Miamisburg High School. And, Adam, I think, have we had a chance to talk with you this year? I know last year we talked to you. I know that.
Yeah, not yet this year. This is the first time.
Haven't had the opportunity yet. But I hope people realize, how hard that you work. And also, you've been rewarded for that this year.
I have.
And you definitely deserve that. And I'm talking about scholarship.
Yes.
I'm talking about, and congratulations to
Thank
you on
you,
that.
appreciate it.
Your hard work.
Thank you.
But a tremendous athlete. You were in high school, and you bump every day. You go toe-to-toe, chest to chest, arm to arm with Loudon Love.
I do,
and you can talk about it.
Yeah, I've lived to tell the tale. But
you know how Antoine Davis feels, right?
yeah. I told Chris that was a love tap compared to what he does in practice.
Love tap. That's good.
But for you, though, it's so important, to be able to, the practice time is so important, to the entire team, and it's not just, some guy that came off the street, walking on, okay? You bring, a level of talent and a level of athleticism to this team that is really helpful.
Yeah, my sophomore year when I first joined the team, I didn't really know where I fit in with my role and everything, but once I started going with Loudon every day, kind of embraced that role as the guy who's going to guard him and bump down there with him. So I try to just get in the weight room as much as I could to try my best to match up with him. But putting the work in there has really tried to help me, or it really has helped me with that role on the team.
For him, too, though, I think it's difficult because he is, a physical specimen like they're out on the floor. You don't see a lot of basketball players, like that. As far as, efficient, he has to really adjust to that because there are times when people are grabbing, hacking, whatever, and the call just doesn't go his way. Mm-hmm. But, barely, and somebody runs into him and they think that's an intentional foul, and it's not. We looked on replay the other night. He just went up, blocked the shot, and Davis bumped up against him. Yeah,
his physicality, that you can't really prepare for that, and he's dealt with it his whole life where somebody's going to run into him, they're probably going to fall down. And so when he makes a move, the guy might fall down too. So he's got to be cautious about that, but still maintain that aggressiveness and motor to play out there.
What's it like in practice, though? Some of the things, because you want to be able to make him better, also making yourself better.
Yeah, my biggest thing is with being on scout team, we're given a person each week. And most of the time, I'm the other team's center. So I try to just watch film on what their centers do when we're in the film room and just try to execute that to the best of my ability. I know it's a different look from 6'3" to 6'10", but I just try to do the best I can out there.
You had some good high school basketball teams at Miamisburg. I can remember I was coaching at Northmont, and we were playing, my 7th grade team was playing you guys in a tournament. And of course, I know your mom and dad forever because Gary was our sports information director for a while, and your wife worked in the your mom worked in the athletic department. I think that's where they might have met. I don't know, but he's shaking his head.
Yeah, he's shaking his head, yeah.
But anyway, it's always good to see, the history of Wright State produce another basketball player, which, Alan Vest is a son of a former player. You're the son of a couple people that worked in the athletic department, which I think is really cool. But you played on some really good high school basketball teams. I remember when I got off track on the story, but the 7th grade team was playing in the tournament. Your mom was telling me our team's undefeated. Our team's undefeated. They're pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, yeah. Middle school was a great time. I was about this size, and we did pretty well. But yeah, being from the Dayton area, my parents working and going here, obviously I was a fan of Wright State, and some of the guys make fun because I've got pictures of when I'm a little toddler running around at Wright State games and holding up signs, and it's been great to get the opportunity to be on the team after being a lifelong fan.
Your grandfather, Charlie, he's your grandfather or uncle?
Great uncle.
Great uncle. He was involved with the program. He was a statistician or something. Yeah. He was very involved back in the early days when we were playing in the PE building. He was around all the time.
Yeah, the Giles family's been around Wright State for a while now, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it. And we'll see former players like Deshaun Wood and Vaughn Duggins at the game, and they don't really know who they are, but I'm like, that was my favorite player when I was 7. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they want to hear that, don't they?
Yeah.
Vaughn's going to be coming back here sometime next week as he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, yeah, we saw him at IPY. He stopped by and watched that game, so I got to we got to see him there. So
You know, I think he had an easier time chasing, the other team's offensive players than he does chasing his kids.
Yeah.
I mean, he spent a lot of time chasing that little boy
he
that
had a
afternoon.
few of them running around up there in the stands. We could see it.
Well, you had a chance to play because you're such an exceptional athlete, in high school, football, baseball. Did you even think about wanting to play football somewhere?
I did. Football was the sport that I wanted to pursue in college, and there was the option for Division II football, but I made the decision to just go to school. So I chose Wright State just as a student, and freshman year I was just only a student. Just went to the rec and worked out and played intramural basketball and all this stuff. But then that sophomore year came around. It was a nice surprise.
Did you go to the tryout? Did somebody suggest that you try to do that?
There wasn't really a tryout.
Okay.
I was actually playing in a Sunday afternoon open gym with Bob Grant and other people from the athletic department and friends, and Coach Sargent. The new staff had just been hired, and Coach Sargent was there, and I met him there. And then about a month later, he got my number and texted me and was saying how he wants me to come to an open gym with the team.
Yeah.
And I played with the team once. And then I didn't hear anything after that, so I was like, oh, it must not have gone well. But
What was that like, though, coming into that situation, though?
I was nervous.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Because
Yeah.
a funny story, I actually pulled my hamstring playing slow pitch softball earlier that spring. So
Oh, no.
I was still a little gimpy from that, but I was nervous, and I was seeing guys that I would go to the games and watch them, like, oh, there's Benzinger and Mark Allstork and those guys, so I was nervous playing with them. But that's where I met Trey Stacy, and he was nice to me. I was sitting with him half the time. And then I found out a couple months later, Sargent texted me again. It was
Okay.
like, hey, you want to come in? Coach Nagy wants to meet with you. So I went in there for a meeting, and that's when he gave me the opportunity, if I wanted to walk on, and that was an easy choice.
Were you nervous for that meeting, too?
Yeah, I was, because I hadn't
Never met him
him
before,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And he'll probably tell you if he asks him, but he said he painted the worst picture possible in my head. So he said anything that surpasses that, it's just icing on the cake. So I went in there with low expectations, but everything since then has just been great.
A lot of your teammates, they talk about what they really like, about him, obviously, because they're here, is the honesty. I mean, he's honest and he follows through on what he talks about. It might be stuff you don't want to hear, but, you'd rather have somebody like that with integrity.
Absolutely, yeah. You get used to it after a while. At first, you might get a little defensive and try to explain yourself, but at the end of the day, you just got to take it and listen to him and do what he's saying.
Have the years gone by fast for you?
They have,
Yeah.
especially these last 3 years on the team. It seems like I was just in college, just starting college yesterday, and now less than a semester left, and we're almost done.
What's your field to study?
Supply chain management.
Oh, yeah. Is that something you wanted to do when you first came here, or did you make your mind up where you were
No, I came in as a biology major,
Okay.
and that lasted about a semester. And then I went over to the business school and started in supply chain.
There's a lot of jobs in that area, so you did some research,
Yeah,
obviously.
I did. Me and my dad actually made the decision together. Because I knew I wanted to go to business because biology
Yeah.
wasn't for me, but we didn't know where to go. So we just did some research and some reading and found out supply chain would be a good job.
I have tremendous respect for walk-ons. I think the position that you fill is one that gets appreciated only by the coaching staff and the other players, and it takes a unique person to do that. And I give you a lot of credit for that because, Trey, you mentioned Trey Stacy. Trey Stacy was the ultimate perfect walk-on, in my opinion. He had a great attitude, came to practice
Absolutely.
with a smile on his face. And you do the same. And it's a real tribute to you because it's tough. I mean, it's tough to be, you're not going to play unless the game gets out of hand, but you still got to come to practice and perform. And that's what makes teams really good. I mean, it really does. It's what makes good teams is when you've got that kind of effort out of all your players, the ones that don't play, the ones that do play. It's a team, and everybody's got a little role. And your role is to help those guys get better, and you've accepted it. And not that you've accepted it, but you embellish it, and you just, you go with it.
Trey set a great example for me because he had already been on the team 2 years when I became a walk-on, and I just followed his lead. And you got to really bring it every day in practice, or when you're being on the scout team, you're going to get your butt whooped by the first team. So you better be ready to go. Then we added 2 walk-ons this year, Andy, Neff, and Jack Hendricks. And I told them from the start, like, hey, if you have any questions, let me know, but make sure you're right in the gym, ready to go. You can't just roll in there against Loudon and guys like that and expect to do well.
You know, I've seen Clint Sargent, Coach Sargent, get into practice quite a bit, and there was something on Twitter the other day where you guys were playing 5-on-5, and he threw a behind-the-back pass in traffic to, I think it was Andy Neff,
yeah,
right?
It was.
For a layup.
He admitted later that day after the videos on Twitter that he did not know Andy was there, and he was trying to throw it to me, but it was a bad pass, and it just went right to Andy.
Gotta love his honesty, don't
you? He didn't admit it on Twitter, but he admitted it to us after the fact.
Tell the story about you guys were getting ready to play. Was it? I think it was Oakland on Friday, Thursday. I guess it was Thursday.
Yeah.
And you had your shoot around. And what happened at the end of the shoot around with one of the assistant athletic directors?
Oh, Joy Lynn?
Joy Lynn.
Yeah, before every game we shoot a half quarter, and Joy Lynn just had to be in the gym. If you're in the gym that day, you're going to end up shooting.
Yeah, Chris knows about it.
I know that real well. I was told don't be short, so I threw the baseball pass and nearly took the backboard down in Cancun. So
yeah, if you're lucky enough to be in the gym at that time, they're going to make you shoot a half quarter, and Joy Lynn was in there. She just grabs the ball and throws it like a baseball and sinks it, and everybody's saying, no way she gets it there.
well, should you just walk off? Hey, leave me alone,
she walked right out of the gym after that. She was done.
Well, you mentioned Andy Neff. We got to say this. Does he remind you that he's 2 for 2 this year?
He hasn't.
Oh, really?
He probably will soon. I'm like 1 for 3 on the year or something like that, but he's got a good percentage right now. We're going to have to miss a few shots.
Adam, the music in the background means we got to get out of here, but we really enjoyed the time you spent with us tonight.
Thank you.
A lot of basketball to play, and best of luck this weekend against Northern Kentucky.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks to Sydney over here, our studio producer. Back in the studio, also Jamie, also Greg and Ryan back here, and everybody, please, thank you so much for coming out here tonight. And we want to see you again next week. We want to see you in the Nutter Center in your seats as the Raiders host Northern Kentucky on Friday night at 9 o'clock. For Coach Jim Brown, this is Chris Collins. Thank you, and go Raiders.